Hey everybody and welcome to Chairman of the Board. Today I'm going to start counting down my top 50 games of all time. I did one of these last year, but I played so many great games this year and my tastes have changed too, so this year is almost unrecognizable compared to the last one of these that I did. So let's get started at number 50 and I hope you enjoy the video. So at number 50 I have Citadels, which is kind of known as Bruno Feduti's kind of classic game. It's a drafting game with all these hidden roles and you're using these roles to kind of mess with each other and build your own little city. It's very light and breezy and just to create some really good fun moments. At number 49 I have Colt Express, which was a Spiel des Jahres winner back in 2015. It's a programming game set in the Wild Wild West. You basically plan all your moves ahead of time as you're trying to rob this train, and then everyone plays their cards kind of one after another, and you just watch as everything you've programmed just goes into complete chaos, and you know, loads of laugh out loud moments with this one. So that's Colt Express. At number 48, I have Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. Now, this was on my list last year at number 18, so a bit of a drop there, but this is a game I still really enjoy. Very, very thematic, a story-driven game where you're trying to work with your friends to try solve a murder mystery by kind of flicking through this kind of newspapers and this kind of address directories. You're trying to find out clues and stuff, all to kind of fix all these different clues together to work out who's done it. A very, very well-written game, very clever, very difficult, but really good fun and a great activity to play with your friends and family. That's Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective. At number 47 I have Blood Rage, which is an area control game by Eric Lang. It's probably one of his most popular games, set in the kind of Viking mythology. It's got some really cool twists with it as you're drafting to kind of select your abilities you can use that round. You kind of get points by even killing yourself and stuff like that, so there's loads of different strategies you can kind of adopt. Gorgeous production, amazing miniatures as you'd expect with Cool Mini or Not, who actually produced this game, and it's just a very, very solid and popular area control game. And my last year's number 19, so again a bit of a slip there, but that's because I haven't played it so much this year. So at number 47 that is Blood Rage. At number 46, I have another extremely popular game with Cythe. Now this is a very smooth, economical, kind of almost a bit of area control there as well, where you have this own little player board and you are kind of getting your own little upgrades, and some gets better, some kind of abilities get better, they get cheaper at the same time, so there's real kind of engine building to it. Has loads of different kind of strategies you can adopt. For an area control game, it's very kind of non-confrontational, and it's just a very nice production, and it plays very, very smoothly. One that I can see why it's so popular. A bit of asymmetrical abilities there as well. So my number 46 is Cythe. At number 45 was last year's 16, and again this is probably because I haven't played it so much this year. That is Camel Up. Now this is another Spiel des Jahres winner from a few years back, an extremely fun kind of a betting game where you're betting on these camels who are racing around this board, kind of hitching on each other's backs and kind of giving each other a little boost and stuff like that. Extremely good fun, almost like a party game that can play up to, I think it's like up to 10 or 12 players with the expansion. Very accessible and just creates some very, very tense moments as you get those photo finishes and kind of mess with each other's camels and stuff like that. Just a very fun game and always guaranteed good fun. That is Camel Up. At number 44, I have my first two-player only game with Tides of Time. Now this is, as I said, a two-player exclusively drafting game. As you probably don't expect a drafting game to work so well at two players, but this one does a really good job of it. It's a micro game, so you only get like 18 cards in the pack, but they all have a different kind of criteria of how to score, and you're kind of passing these cards back and forward and trying to get as many combos as you can to score as many points as you can. Very simple, but it works very well and extremely elegant, and some good choices in there as well. So that's Tides of Time. At number 43, I have last year's 15, which is Sheriff of Nottingham. Now this is an immensely popular social kind of party game where you're playing like a bunch of merchants and someone's a sheriff, and all these merchants are trying to get goods past the sheriff. Now they could be telling the truth or they could be lying, and basically the sheriff has to use his discretion on whose kind of bags he searches or not. If he searches someone and they're telling the truth, then the sheriff has to pay them. But if he catches some contraband or something that shouldn't be in the bag, then the merchant has to pay the sheriff instead. It's such a good fun game, and again, this is another game kind of like Camel Up where it's almost guaranteed to have a good time. Not everyone's cup of tea because you do have to use a bit of lying, a bit of bluffing, but it's just such good fun, and you can really kind of get into the role playing of it and have a really good time that way. A family friendly game, that is the Sheriff of Nottingham. At number 42, I have last year's 20. This is Onitama. Another two-player exclusive game. This is my first kind of abstract game. It's almost like a very kind of simplified version of chess, where basically you've only got 5 moves you can possibly take between the two of you, but as you take one, you're kind of passing them over to your opponent. So you've got to be very careful about which moves you use and which kind of abilities you're giving to your opponent to use against you. There's 2 kind of winning criteria, which is either kind of defeating your opponent's master or putting your master on the other master's throne. So it's a very thinky game, but it plays in such a concise amount of time, only about 10 or 15 minutes a game, but loads of tough decisions here. You've got to really kind of plan your moves a few times ahead, but you can't get too far ahead of yourself because you're only limited to those few cards, and you are a little bit at the mercy of your opponent as well. But a very nice game, one that's almost, it's got a very classic feel to it. That is Onitama. And finally, for this portion of my top 50, at number 41, I have Kingsburg, which is a worker placement game that uses dice. So you're basically going to roll 3 dice, and you're going to allocate these dice as you like. You can put like 1 dice on a 2, or you can pull them together by putting like a 4 and a 2 together to get a 6 spot. And all those different kind of denominations of dice are associated to like a king's advisor, which let you kind of gather resources and stuff and let you build your own little town, which gives you kind of more kind of mitigation in your dice and different bonuses and stuff like that. You've got to be very careful because at the end of every year, a kind of enemy is going to attack your village, and you've got to make sure you have enough military strength to fight them off. It plays very, very nicely. The second edition version, which is the one available now, you get loads of variabilities. You've got all the kind of unique player abilities. You've got different kind of variations you can put on the King's Advisors and stuff like that. So there's loads of variation there, like event cards and stuff like that as well. Just a very nice production, a very kind of breezy worker placement game that you can kind of think about, your kind of upgrades and your kind of tech trees and personalize your little kingdom as much as you like. Very good fun. It plays really well, probably at 3 to 5 players. But yeah, a very, very solid game, and one that I really enjoy. That's Kingsburg. So that wraps up number 50 to 41 of this portion. I hope you really enjoyed the video, and keep an eye on my channel for the next portion as I count down my number 40 to 31. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit like and subscribe if you have, and check out my other videos too. For everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.